There is something heaven has kept veiled until now. Chosen one, open your heart, for a sacred truth is seeking you. Today, the heavens stirred and whispered, "Reveal it, the time has come." And so, as a vessel of the Most High, these words are passed on, not as mere poetry, but as divine revelation. Around your name, a quiet miracle has been unfolding, not in noise, not in spectacle, but in stillness. Somewhere out there, a soul has seen you not with longing of the flesh, but with awe that only heaven can place in the human heart. Their love is not loud, it is not reckless, it is reverent. It does not demand, it beholds. This connection was not born of logic. It was never supposed to exist, not in this season, not across this distance, not with the layers of impossibility wrapped around it. But God, in His boundless wisdom, allowed it, not to confuse you, but to awaken you, because this is not infatuation, this is revelation. They didn't go searching, they didn't plan to feel. But when your presence entered their life, something within them grew still. As Psalm 46:10 declares, "Be still and know that I am God." That stillness, it was Him, it was recognition. Your voice touched a chamber in their spirit that no one else had ever entered. You did not seduce the flesh, you stirred the soul. And since that moment, they have carried that knowing like a sacred prayer. Not all will understand this, not all are meant to, but heaven does. For this is not fantasy, this is alignment, this is destiny, this is God's timing, not man's logic. As Ecclesiastes 3:11 reminds us, He has made everything beautiful in its time. And this love, yes, this holy love, was never a mistake. It was never one-sided. It was never foolish. It was written. Now, as you step forward into this divine role, I invite you to declare your readiness. Type Amen in the comments below as a sign of your acceptance, as a bold statement that you are ready to step into your God-given purpose. And stay with me until the very end, chosen one, because we'll be closing with a prayer that may just shift everything. Let heaven speak. Let your soul listen. Something sacred is about to unfold. There are moments when the eyes deceive, when the surface tells only part of the story. The years, the distance, the visible contrasts, they seem to shout, impossible, and yet the Spirit whispers otherwise. Because what heaven joins, it does not measure by time, by age, by proximity, or by opinion. It measures by alignment. And in the realm of the eternal, souls do not age. They do not forget. They simply recognize. This recognition, quiet and holy, has already begun. Lately, you've felt it. A tug on your heart, a question forming without words. Why do I keep thinking of them? Why does something in me respond when I hear their name, see their smile, feel their absence? You haven't imagined it. You've tuned into something sacred. Heaven has echoed it back in subtle signs, in dreams too vivid to ignore, in moments that feel like they've already happened, in a kind of longing that doesn't drain you, but awakens you. You are receiving a signal, not of fantasy, but of faith, from a heart that has been quietly, reverently, faithfully holding space for you. They've seen your strength, not as intimidation, but as refuge. Your wisdom, not as something to rival, but as something to learn from. Your presence, not as noise, but as home. They haven't spoken of it often, maybe not at all, but they have prayed, not for possession, but for clarity, not to claim you, but to bless you. One night, in a moment of holy vulnerability, they sat alone, no mask, no bravado. And they spoke into the silence, not to impress but to surrender. God, if this feeling is from you, let it grow gently. But if it's not, remove it from me completely. And God, in his mercy, did not take it away. He did not bury it. He allowed it to grow not as infatuation, but as intercession. Not as noise, but as knowing. And in that quiet growth, something sacred began to take root. Because this isn't about falling in love, it's about waking up to love. They recognize your spirit, even in your silence. They see a light in you that doesn't flicker under pressure, a light that reminds them of something eternal, a language beyond speech, a presence that brings peace. And though they may never rush to confess it, what they carry is holy. It's patient, it's honoring. It would rather wait forever in reverence than move too soon in fear. And now, heaven is drawing your attention to this, not to overwhelm, but to prepare. You've been distracted lately. Your spirit stirred, your dreams restless, your emotions tender in ways you can't explain. You feel it in the quiet moments, something more, something real. And no, it's not confusion, it's confirmation. God is not pushing you toward uncertainty. He's preparing you for fulfillment. Because if you've been called to this person, or they to you, it will not be through pressure or striving, it will be through trust. The connection, when the time is right, will be undeniable. It will not need validation from the crowd. It will not crumble under the weight of what-ifs. Because when God is the author, the story holds. Yes, you may wonder, what will people think? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm hoping for something that isn't meant for me? But remember, when Noah built the ark, he had no applause, only obedience. When Mary said yes to the angel, she did so without knowing how Joseph would react. When David stepped into battle, he didn't ask if the crowd approved. He just knew the giant had to fall. Faith doesn't always make sense to those who weren't called to carry it. And so now, the Spirit of God is sending peace not to quiet your desire, but to anchor your heart. Peace in your timing, peace in your trust, peace in the process. He's softening the fear, healing the doubt, and clearing the space where this love, this miracle can be received. Because no, it may not look the way you expected. It may not arrive dressed in the familiar. It may cross lines you thought were fixed. But if it walks in truth, if it carries peace, if it honors God and grows in prayer, then chosen one, it is not a mistake. It is a gift. And not all gifts come wrapped the way we imagined. Some come wrapped in timing we weren't looking for. Some come after long seasons of waiting. Some come to complete what we never knew was missing. And this love is one of those gifts. Let your heart remain open. What is holy will never need to force its way in. What is yours will arrive clothed in peace, and it will recognize you just as you recognize it. Heaven is watching, and heaven is not confused. Neither should you be. And so we continue, chosen one. You've begun to sense it, haven't you? That something sacred has been stirring, not loudly, not with spectacle, but in the quiet spaces of your heart. Love, when heaven breathes it into being, rarely enters with fireworks. It begins in stillness, in a knowing, in the kind of recognition that doesn't need to speak to be understood. That's how it began for them. There was no grand confession, no obvious moment, just a soul quietly recognizing another, the way light recognizes light in the dark. Before words were exchanged, before stories were shared, something eternal within them responded to something eternal within you. They didn't fall for your image, your age, or your story. They fell for your essence, the unseen part of you that doesn't ask for attention but radiates truth. The part that kept choosing love, even when love didn't choose you. The part that stood tall when no one was watching. The part that forgave, healed, gave again. And heaven, yes, heaven took notice. This was not a scripted love. It didn't arrive in the form that makes sense to the world. But the mold was never heaven's design. The world calculates love by convenience, by numbers, by categories. But the Most High, He measures it by surrender, by divine appointments, by the readiness of the heart. So when God saw their spirit lean toward yours, even from a distance, He began moving quietly around your life. Not to force the outcome, but to prepare the space, to gently shape the moments that would allow truth to rise, not rushed, but reverently revealed. They've been praying, not in desperation, but in quiet surrender. They've whispered prayers that weren't about possession, but permission. If this is not meant, let it fade. But if it is, make me ready to honor it, not misuse it. Because this person has no desire to take what isn't theirs. They only want to be aligned with what is holy, and what they feel when they think of you. It doesn't come with pressure. It arrives as peace. It's not about attraction, it's about anchoring, about how your name brings stillness, how your energy feels like memory, not one made on earth, but one remembered from a higher place. And yes, you felt it too, that softness behind your ribs, that quiet wonder pulling you toward a name you didn't ask for, that moment when someone crosses your mind and something inside you settles. That is not fantasy, that is spiritual memory. That is your soul recognizing something your mind hasn't yet explained. You see, heaven is not just sending love, heaven is inviting you into a different kind of love. One that doesn't come to perform, but to preserve. One that doesn't arrive to complete you, you're already whole. But it does come to see you fully, maybe for the first time. And yet, with that invitation comes a question from above. Can you receive this without fear? Because the love written for you is not fragile, but it is sacred. It is not loud, but it is alive. And God wants to be sure you won't sabotage it. That you won't run because it doesn't look like what others would applaud. That you won't shrink just because someone else might not understand. This love doesn't belong to them, it belongs to heaven. And heaven does not ask permission to bless. You've spent your life loving others before they proved they were safe. You believed in people before they believed in themselves. You gave grace like it was endless, and now, finally, God is sending that same grace back to you. Not just through healing, but through someone who has already begun to cover you in prayer. They have been carrying your name, not in obsession, but in reverence. Not to own you, but to lift you. Their prayers have not been selfish. They have asked God to guard your joy, to multiply your peace, to send laughter back to the places that once held your tears. Whether they ever hold your hand or not, they have chosen to protect your name in the secret place. That is love, the rare kind, the kind that heaven writes. And now, it's no longer about chasing a story others will understand. It's about responding to the one heaven already authored. This love may not look like what you imagined. It may not follow the formula. But when you're alone, when the world is quiet, and it's just you and God, you know this feeling isn't fiction. You feel peace when you think of them. Not drama, not confusion, peace. And that peace, that's your confirmation. That's the Spirit of God saying, you are not imagining this. You are witnessing it unfold. This connection has been blooming behind the scenes, quietly, faithfully, in prayer, in patience, in alignment, because what is from heaven does not need to shout. It only needs to be received. And now, the veil begins to lift. Not with drama, not with noise, but with quiet assurance. For what is holy rarely demands attention. It simply reveals itself, layer by layer, when the soul is ready to see. Before this divine connection can enter your life in full, heaven asks something sacred of you: preparation. Because what's coming is not like what you've known. This love will not echo the pain of your past. It will not flicker like a candle in the wind, burning bright one moment and vanishing the next. It will not be built on silence, confusion, or second-guessing. It will not ask you to dim your light, hide your depth, or apologize for your fire. No, this time it will be different. This time your presence will be met with presence. Your truth will be welcomed, not feared. Your wisdom will be received, not resented. And when your fire rises, they will not shrink away. They will meet it with their own and whisper, "Finally, someone who burns like I do." And when this love comes, it won't feel like chaos. It won't knock you off your center. It will feel like peace, like clarity, like home. Because real love, heaven-sent love, doesn't shake your foundation. It becomes your foundation. Here are 10 ways to prepare not just your life, but your spirit for what is coming. 1. Cultivate inner stillness. Make space each day to be alone with God. No distractions, no noise, just stillness. Let your spirit become a sanctuary, a place where divine instruction can land without interruption. In quietness and trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30-15. When the world is loud, peace becomes a rare frequency, and you must tune your heart to it. 2. Stop resisting what God is gently stirring. You may feel something rising, an emotion you can't name, a warmth that arrives when you think of this person, a sudden softness in your spirit. Instead of judging it or silencing it, acknowledge it. Healing begins when you stop fighting the very thing God is trying to heal through. 3. Practice emotional honesty. Each evening, ask yourself, what did I feel today? What opened my heart? What closed it? Where did I feel God's nearness? Write it down. Self-awareness is not vanity. It is the gateway to spiritual clarity. The psalmist said, "Search me, O God, and know my heart." Psalm 139-23. Ask Him daily. 4. Release the fear of human judgment. Let go of the need to be understood by everyone. Some won't understand how love could cross age, timing, or expectation, but they weren't invited to carry your story. God never needed a panel of approval to bless you. Let your mind rehearse truth, not fear. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. 5. Anchor yourself in God first. Before you hold another's heart, make sure God holds yours. Your strength must flow from the vine. Pray not for the person to arrive, but for the Spirit to receive. Ask for wisdom, patience, and the ability to love like Christ, without condition, without fear, without rush. 6. Cleanse the past, gently, daily. Old heartbreaks don't disqualify you, they become sacred soil when surrendered. But you must choose to release what you no longer need. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's freedom. Whisper it daily. I let go. I bless the past. I make room for what is holy. 7. Create space for peace. God does not pour living water into broken cisterns. Clean your physical and spiritual space. Light a candle when you pray. Remove objects that tie your spirit to pain. Let your home reflect your hope. Prepare the way of the Lord. Make his paths straight. Luke 3-4. 8. Learn how to receive without fear. Love will not force itself in, but it must be welcomed. Let yourself receive compliments without deflection. Let yourself feel joy without guilt. The blessing you've prayed for is not a burden. Train your soul to receive without flinching. 9. Discern what is divine and what is distraction. When the true blessing draws near, the counterfeit often shows up first. Pay attention. Is this connection drawing you closer to God or pulling you from Him? Real love restores your peace. False love drains it. Protect your spirit without apology. 10. Keep your heart tender. Hearts that are bitter miss miracles. Do one gentle act each day. Bless someone who can't repay you. Speak life into someone's sorrow or intercede in secret for someone else's joy. A soft heart is holy ground. It recognizes the footsteps of divine love before it even knocks. These steps aren't rules, they're reminders. Sacred love is not just about who walks in, it's about who you become as you wait. And in your becoming, heaven is aligning every detail with care. Because a divine love story doesn't begin with two people finding each other. It begins with two hearts becoming ready to love with wisdom, to see with grace, and to walk forward without fear. And when both hearts are ready, heaven does not delay. It simply opens the door. And now, chosen one, in this sacred unfolding, God is asking something simple yet profound. Breathe, not just the breath that fills your lungs, but the breath that touches your soul. The kind of breath that comes when you finally stop running from the past, from fear, from the versions of yourself you created just to survive. The kind of breath that says, I no longer have to prove my worth to be loved. Let go of the fear that has traveled with you for too long. Let go of the version of love that hurt you, used you, confused you. Let go of the idea that love has to look a certain way, arrive at a certain time, fit inside a box the world built from broken expectations. Heaven's love rarely looks like the world's image. It is quieter, truer. It builds slowly, it waits, it heals, it reveals. There is something God is doing now that requires a different kind of openness, not one rooted in performance, but in presence. You are being invited to receive love that does not demand you change, shrink, or translate yourself just to be understood. This love has been watching, not with the cold stare of judgment, but with the quiet awe of recognition. They saw your endurance when no one was clapping. They saw the way you carried grief without letting it define you. They saw you offer kindness with empty hands, pray through clenched fists, and wake up morning after morning with a heart still open though it had every reason to close. This is not a love that fell for your potential. It fell for your perseverance. It did not fall for your image, your age, or the curated story others saw. It responded to the sacred pulse within you. The fire that kept burning even in the storm. The way your spirit stayed soft when the world gave you every excuse to grow hard. They watched you not with obsession, but reverence. How you forgave what was never apologized for. How you stayed faithful to God even when He felt silent. How you loved people who couldn't return it. How you walked through loss, betrayal, disappointment, yet never lost your ability to bless. And that is what made their soul whisper, "There you are." In 1 Samuel 16-7, God speaks to the prophet Samuel as he searches for the next king of Israel. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And that's what this love sees: your heart, your daily faithfulness, not your performance, your unseen sacrifices, not your titles, your quiet obedience, not your noise. This connection wasn't born from strategy. You didn't pursue it. You didn't manipulate it into being. It came into your life not as a storm, but as a shift, a holy stirring. Like Elijah on the mountain in 1 Kings 19, not in the wind, not in the fire, but in the still, small voice. That's how this love entered, not with thunder, but with truth. And now heaven whispers, don't dismiss this simply because it came quietly. The world has taught you to equate loud with love. But real love does not scream for attention. It stays, it covers. It prays behind the scenes while you sleep. It intercedes in secret without asking for credit. It celebrates you without trying to possess you. This person has not prayed for God to make you theirs. They've prayed for your joy, your wholeness, your peace, even if it doesn't lead them to your door. Their love does not hinge on what you give. It is rooted in what they see in you: sacredness, wholeness, a calling, a light too real to be ignored. And you've felt it too. That quiet peace that visits your heart when you think of them, a fullness not of noise, but of knowing, a sense of being seen in the places you never thought anyone could reach. You feel their presence even when they're far, like a prayer wrapped around your name, because it is. You've been watched over, covered in prayers you never heard, held in intercessions whispered from rooms you've never entered, not because you needed saving, but because someone saw your worth and responded with worship. Not worship of you, but worship of God for creating someone like you. And now, heaven asks you to consider this. Could it be that the love you've always longed for was never withheld, only hidden, waiting for you to become ready? You've spent years trying to earn what was never meant to be earned. You shrank in rooms where you were meant to rise. You adjusted your truth to fit comfort zones you were never called to remain in. But not anymore. This love doesn't ask for a performance. It meets you in your essence. And it does not run from your story, it leans into it. Remember the bleeding woman in Mark 5? For 12 years, she suffered. She had tried everything, spent all she had, grew worse instead of better. But she had one belief left: if I could just touch the hem of his garment. That kind of faith moved heaven. And when she touched Jesus, he turned and said, "Daughter, your faith has made you well." This is the kind of love being prepared for you, love that doesn't need full explanations, just presence, just a touch of truth. Just enough faith to believe that maybe, just maybe, you're finally being seen not for what you've done, but for who you've always been. No, it may not make sense to others. No, it may not fit the timelines or formulas you were taught to follow. But this is not about logic. This is about legacy.